So something to just think about is, you're talking to me. Don't worry about the camera.
Oh, you're telling me
like
to talk to you.
The camera's on us, and
I'm
obviously
unaware.
we know the camera's there.
I don't know a camera.
But really, this is just a convo between you and I.
I don't know about any cameras. You ever thought about if you stayed in an Airbnb and like
that someone's watching you?
Yeah,
the whole time.
Are you
Does
serious?
that turn you on a little bit?
A little bit. I think one of my concerns is,
would you let someone watch?
Are they paying? If they're not paying, no.
So you wouldn't. The value.
Just out of kicks.
Value wouldn't be them watching. Then
No.
the value would be how much they pay to
Exactly.
watch.
But I don't think it needs to be much, because I think it will just make me feel sexier because I'm getting paid to fuck.
Hey guys, and welcome to episode 25 of Dad Knows Best. I am Harrison Mudge, and I am back on the mics with my co-host Adam Callow.
Have you missed me?
Yeah.
Or have you had other stuff on your mind?
Yeah, I've missed you. Definitely missed you. Obviously, we missed a show last week, which was the first time in DKB history, in its long 24 episode history. But I think the reasons were just. Obviously, the baby was here. Don't know if you saw or heard, but I did a standalone episode with me just as I got home after the birth. Shell-shocked.
Delirious.
Yeah.
I go with Delirious. I really enjoyed that show, to be honest. And then the show with you and Em.
Yep.
I think...
And that was...
we found a new star of the show, to be honest.
Well, she said at the start... Well, no, I had to say to her, like, look, this is about the birth and the experience we went through, so let's not use this as an opportunity
correction show
to correct me.
Yeah, it would have been a very different vibe going on.
But that was the start of the new format with the camera on us, obviously. So if you want to watch us as well as listen
There's
to
a
us,
camera on us.
you can.
Oh shit!
Just
not my good
so
side.
if you beautiful people want to see how beautiful we are, just go over to Dad Knows Best on YouTube, and hopefully you'll find us. I mean.
What made you start the video show, by the way?
Just want to get something out there. I keep saying it on another show that we do, Startup Diary. I keep saying YouTube, want to do YouTube, and we do it for Startup Diary as well, and it's just static image. Mm-hmm. I just want to get something out there. This is a no-brainer because we do it every week. Mm-hmm. So this is like, rather than thinking, what cool content can I create? Well, we already fucking do something. So just make that a video. And then we'll go from there. Cool. So then I've now got a staple piece of content that goes out every week, and then I can pepper other stuff and then see what works and things like that. So,
nice.
Learned that from our main man, Sean Cannell.
So that guy, okay. But you always have a weird grin on your face when you speak about him.
Because is
it a little bit of a man crush? I
think what it is, and DKB listeners probably won't get it, but Startup Diary listeners would, is obviously you're a big fan of Gary Vee.
Yeah, I'm actually. I have been in the past. I think I'm actually slowly moving away. Not moving away from him, but you know, it's the same old stuff, and it's meant to be the same old stuff.
But the reason I smile is because the way you are/were with Gary Vee.
Oh, okay.
Is kind of the same with me and Sean Cannell. So it's like, oh, he's my man. I'll listen to him. Like it's that's why it makes me laugh.
Okay.
Basically today, Adam. First of all, thank you for coming back.
Always, man. Thank you for coming back from paternity leave.
Yeah. So it's now he's like 3 weeks old.
Are we going to refer to him, say, or Elliot?
Elliot is 3 weeks old.
Yep.
Give or take, as of time of recording. And obviously I've had Emmy on to go through the thing.
Yep. The birth.
And I guess this is probably a good time to kind of talk about the first 3 weeks of my life since Elliot has been in my world. And yeah, so where shall I start? I'm hosting, but I'm leading the host.
Yeah, no, I want to hear what it was like days 1 to 3 at home. I want to just get an understanding of what was like absolute shell shock, or was it actually as expected? Yeah. So I don't even think we've spoken detail about that right now. I'll be honest, you look more tired today than yesterday, so I'm assuming. Yeah. I'm assuming there's a sleep situation going on, but we'll get on to that. Tell me about what it was like when you guys got home.
Yeah, so So interestingly,
You put me in interview style, by the way. That's why I've got hands.
I know. Relax though.
No,
relax.
but I caught myself doing it.
I like it though. I like it.
Okay.
It's like it's nice being on the receiving end.
Okay, cool.
I get the best Adam Callow. So the first, as we said on the previous episode, the first few days, I think I said it, but the first few days I had it quite easy in the sense that because of a few things that happened during the birth, Emmy had to stay in hospital.
Yep. Sorry, I want to skip that bit. We know that bit. Okay. I want to hear what it was like when you guys were at home for the first time together. Because going home was a different story because you got Frank in the mix. Yeah. Like you've got...
So, do you want to know about it all then? Not just the sleep. So, okay. So Frank, we'll jump off on Frank first. So basically, we were thinking we've always been aware that this is going to be something that we're going to have to tackle. We're going to have to be very cautious about because Frank's very boisterous. He's a heavy dog and he's boisterous more than anything else. Like that's just got, and he gives zero fucks about your personal space. So like for example, you're on the sofa, he'll be sat next to you. We've got the patio door to our right. If he sees a cat, he'll just bolt for it, and he'll just run over you.
Yeah,
so
you've got to be aware of that.
Imagine you've got Elliot on your lap. He won't care. Yeah. Or
Elliot's the new treadmill at that point.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. But he was kind of not interested. He's really surprised us. As in, like, he's not... We thought he's going to be like, we're going to come in with this new thing, and he's going to be like, what is that? I need to... Because once he... Like, when someone new comes into the house, he goes nuts for a bit, but then once you've been in for a while, he calms down. We thought it was going to be that. But it wasn't. It was just kind of... He was always happy to see us, and just kind of chill more or less with the baby. He's never been super interested to see what
is that being
Elliot
consistent
is.
over the last 3 weeks as well? Because I would have thought at one point it's like, hold on, this thing is now getting all the attention. What the fuck?
No, so we...
Are you walking him still? Like
he gets just as much attention.
Okay.
If anything, he probably gets slightly more in the sense that
you're compensating that way.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, okay.
So, like, we tend to put Elliot in his crib, cot, wherever he is, because we can't necessarily... Because there's an element of caution to having Elliot on our lap, which we're slowly getting better at as well. We've kind of kept them separated and still do, and probably always will until he's, like, 9 years old.
Yeah,
and can actually handle the weight.
Yeah.
So, what that means is Frank's always... in our vicinity, whereas Elliot tends to get put in his crib out the way at the moment. And I think some of that's also because Elliot can't do anything. He can barely hold his head up. Yeah. Which are nearly like, because he does a lot of wriggling and stretching and all this jazz. I literally holding him last night and he just kind of went
goes.
Like, it was like, whoa! Like trying to catch it and bring it back. So Frank's been getting plenty of attention.
Okay. That's the reason I got rid of Junior. Can you remember Junior, the dog that we had? It was always like a deciding, like, do I come home and play with the kid or walk the dog? Because I was like, Sarah was still at work at that point, and it's kind of like, no, the dog wasn't getting any attention, so that's why we ended up having to get rid of him, which was like heartbreaking, but it's like decision. But it feels like you kind of got like a better control of that than I did.
Yeah, and I think
I feel like I'm rubbing this cable against the mic, by the way. Just
okay.
We good. Okay. I'm just very conscious of it right now. Maybe it's because I'm like trapped. It's like, one sec.
Do you need some more slack, bro?
No, I don't. I've got loads of it. I've just realised it's wrapped around my leg.
That's how much slack you've got now. You're literally entangled in it. No, I think me and Emmy have made a conscious effort to make sure we give Frank attention still. Like I say, probably to the detriment of not giving Elliot as much.
Yeah, he don't know that right now. It's more about sort of getting Frank settled. Yeah. Like he's aware.
But so we've been introducing them a little closer. We're always going to keep a little bit of distance between them until Elliot can bounce a little better or what, hold his head up and all that. So we're just cautious, but we're taking it super steady. We know Frank anyway, so it would only, like I said before, it'd only ever be our fault if something happened. So, but because we know him, we know pretty much how he acts.
We know what situations
we
not
know
to
what
put
to
him
avoid.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay. So how's family been? Like, who's been around? What's people said? Like, how's all that been? Because I think one thing is like everyone wants to come straight away and see the baby. Like, we wanted to. And I was like, no, we just need to, like, he'll fucking call
Yeah.
us. Like, Harry, I'm looking at my phone. You ain't calling. I'm like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah, to be honest, me and Emmy kind of had this conversation. It was like, we just want some like family time just to kind of get to grips with everything. And it was really nice, to be fair, the first week and a bit. It was basically just like off the radar. I think Emmy didn't reply to any texts because obviously as soon as everyone hears the news, everyone starts texting. But it was like she had loads of texts to reply to, but because she wasn't like in the best frame of mind or feeling fit and healthy at the time, she just sort of refrained from replying, because otherwise you then get in a back and forth thread.
Starts a whole conversation.
Yeah, so she caught up on all that in the end. But yeah, it's so we've had obviously immediate family over. Emmy's mum and sister came up from down south. Grandma's been over. Yeah, so I think...
What have your brothers been like with Elliot?
My little bro was super excited, and he's a bit like blown away by it. And my older brother, again, everyone in the family has been super excited about it. And I think more than anything, just like me, it's like, wow, this is
real now.
Real, it's happened. Like, Harry has a child.
I feel like Jack would be more like just looking at you going like, you've got a kid, like, confused.
I think Jack looks at me because obviously he's the older one, and like, sometimes you, for some reason, would assume, not necessarily accurately, but you assume that the older brother will do everything first.
I don't know. My brother's been knocking it into women for ages. He's got kids that we don't even know about.
That's what I'm saying. So like, I think some of Jack's response is like, you know, my little bro has had a kid before me, and that's weird.
Yeah.
It's not weird, but you know what I mean. So that's that. But yeah, my little bro is excited. I think there's a similar, if not the same, age gap from me and my little brother than there is to my little brother and Elliot. So while I'm going to be taking Ollie to his first festival when he's 18,
Ollie,
he's going to be doing the same to Elliot.
That's amazing. So you need to like set expectations of what's going on right now. Yeah, you got to think about that.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the family so far. I think the plan is, because my dad's got some renovations happening at home at the moment, but once that's done, I think the plan is to have like a family get together.
Nice.
And then everyone, extended family and all that jazz, can come and meet.
I assume that means me.
Yeah, family, friends.
Cool.
Because there's loads of people that
you could
have
have
sent
left
cards.
it as family. I still would have come.
There's loads. Well, you are family. There's loads of people that have sent cards and stuff like that. But obviously, it's not in my house. It's not practical to have everyone come at the same time, and it's just not like the amount of time it would take to get everyone to come around individually. You'll be 2 by the time we get through it all. So yeah.
So talk about what paternity leave has been like. I know we can probably touch about this in a bit more detail on the other show, the Startup Diaries. I think it's an interesting conversation. But what's it been like completely detaching it off from work? I think overall you've done a good job of it. And then what's it been like in terms of that onboarding back into work and sleep and family? I guess as the overall mix, it's kind of like you've got like family right now, you've got work going on, you've got your own personal health and well-being, the gym stuff that we know you're really into. Like, how are those 3 pillars working together right now? So
during paternity leave, I was in full-on holiday mode, as in like eating whatever, just purely out of convenience more than anything, because obviously, like I say, Emmy was in hospital for a while, so it was just a case of like Costa and stuff like that. But I was also, I could have made smart decisions, but I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna have a wrap, I'm gonna have some crisps, I'm gonna have a shortbread triangle, cappuccino, sugar, living the dream. So yeah, that was bad for my health, but that was my decision.
Are you still in holiday mode now, or are you making better decisions?
Making better decisions, but it's getting to the end of the year, so it's like Christmas mode starting to creep in. You know what I mean? The main thing, and I think this is like,
when was the last time you went to the gym? Sorry to interrupt.
Not too long ago. Was it Thursday?
You getting 1 or 2 sessions a weekend still?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm shooting for like 3 a week.
Cool.
But obviously they're flexible on what days that works out at. But yeah, just on the gym, I'm trying to make sure I go every few days, because that helps me keep in a frame of mind that makes me want to make better food
decisions.
choices.
Yeah, okay.
Which is applicable to everyone as well, is when you'll find, if you don't already exercise or whatever, and you think, yeah, this seems like a lot, after a while you get in a rhythm of when you're exercising, it makes you want to eat better food.
Yeah.
It's not like, sweet, I've been to the gym, now I'm going to have a chippy tea. If anything, it's
because
like,
you know
I don't
the
want
work,
a chippy tea.
Yeah, you know the work you've got to put in to sort of stay a bit healthy.
So by continually visiting the gym and covering the cost of my membership, it just keeps me inspired to hopefully make better choices. I'm trying to, because obviously like with financials and stuff like that, I need to start being a bit smarter with like food and things. So when it comes to like dinners, for example, normally there's not a crumb left after dinner, even though we probably make enough for 4 people.
Yep.
So now I'm like, no, that's my dinner, and that's now going to be,
that's going in the freezer.
Going to be lunch, and that's
okay.
Like I'm literally lunch today is leftovers from 2 days ago.
Oh wow!
So
that is a new you.
So yeah, but that again is a convenience thing, because I've not had time to batch cook chicken or whatever meals. So it's like, cool, well, there's already like a 50% of a meal cooked here. Just do some fresh pasta, stick it in the Tupperware, and away we go.
So how's Em getting on right now? Like, we haven't heard from her in a week and a bit, 2 weeks, 10 days?
2 weeks now, yeah.
Okay. How's that been going?
She's doing all right. She's doing really well, to be fair. It's amazing.
I said to you the other day, I dropped you a message, and it was like, I never noticed it actually up until like in the run up to Elliot arriving.
Yep.
I understand there was like nerves and there was like concerns, and you sort of act like a paper bag in the wind, but you're not inside. It's like a swan on water. Like, I know there's like internally, and I can sense that sometimes. I know there's like some like fucking like manic thoughts going on in the head, but you're sort of like all cool on the front. But when I met you and you guys brought Elliot over, it was just amazing to see. There was just like a sense of like calmness. I know it's madness going on in the world, but there was just like a sense of like calmness and just like, cool, we've got through it sort of attitude. Like everyone, definitely. Like just the I say 2 of you, but we'll throw Elliot in the mix. But like the 3 of you just seemed like really like a unit. I don't know why I don't know what I'm trying to explain by mentioning it, but it was like before. Everyone's obviously got their own concerns and worries, and you're dealing with it in your own different ways. But it felt like when you guys were together, when you came around the house, it was kind of like fucking cool. Like it was the first time I'd probably seen you as like a family unit in my head, because obviously for you guys with a baby, you're a lot closer to it than anyone else. From an outsider's perspective, it was the first time for me to go, holy shit. It was like a proud moment. I'm like, holy shit.
I think that. Like there are stressful moments at home, and like you do end up like snapping at each other and stuff like that. I think that's kind of inevitable. And I don't think a child will never bring together a broken relationship. But if you're already fairly solid, it gives you just something that you both should be focusing. You both focus on this greater task.
Yeah, for me, that comment is, and I think I've spoken to Sarah about it before, ages ago. I think it was actually a reference to one of her friends, so I won't mention any names. But a child will either become the glue in a relationship or a wedge. As in, if it's a shitty relationship, it's going to cause way more problems. If it's a good relationship, it will just bring you together, and the normal arguments you have just become fairly petty. Like, it's just like, oh, whatever. Like, you just get on with it. I think it's a good point. Like, a child will never bring people together.
Yeah, but because you should by now already be a team. Now the team's just got a new goal to focus on. So,
exactly.
So you just work on that.
That was good.
But yeah, she's doing really well. She did her first proper shop, because like I say, because we're still getting into the rhythm of like what you do now. You've got this, like, you've either got a pushchair or a car seat and all that shit. It's like, where'd you put it all? What do you do with it?
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. Like, what do you do with? Like, I actually remember the first time I ever went shopping with Riley. Went into Leicester High Cross, and it's like, I think there was even we were talking about it at our house. It's like, when you have to go and get a trolley, do you leave the baby in the car? Like, there's all that random stuff that you don't know. Like, what's best practice at this point in time?
Yeah, and when you don't have a specific requirement, like whether you've got a baby or like. Or a disability, for example, let's say you need wheelchair access. Like, unless you actually have that requirement, you never notice or take note of whether something does or doesn't have the facilities. So like, for example, the car seat, we had to Google what the solution was when you've got a car seat. Turns out there are actually certain trolleys in Audi, for example, that you can put the car seat on and it'll fit in. But I didn't even know that until we Googled it. And and then it made me think, I did actually see a woman with a car seat, and I just kind of assumed it was balancing on the top, which when you say it out loud is absolutely ridiculous.
Do you know what pisses me off?
There's only 3 trolleys in the entire store that cater for it.
No. I want to point out that there are more people with parents than disabled people. I'm going to assume that's correct. There are more people with babies than disabled people that go shopping. Okay? Is my assumption. I think it's a fair assumption. Like blue badge holders compared to...
Or at least equivalent, maybe? I don't know.
Whatever.
Where you going with this before I side with it?
The ratio of parent and child parking to disabled parking in the UK is ridiculous. There is 1 or 2 spots, and then there's a whole there's a whole row for blue badge holders. I don't know what they've done at council or
one thing
lobbying
I know
people, but they've got a parking space each. They also have the fucking name on it. It's ridiculous. It honestly winds me up beyond belief.
So we went Tesco the other week.
If they don't limp when they get out of the car, I'm pissed off.
How disabled is
exactly.
Terrible. One thing I noticed, at Tesco,
by the time I finish with
the Tesco near you, we're like, cool, we'll go Tesco together. And we're like, cool, parent and child, because you almost forget that you can even do that now. It's like, sweet, parent and child, go around, we're going up and down. It's like disabled, and obviously the Tesco's are massive, so it's got a massive car park, and the it's got, I think, 3 rows of disabled bays, 3 rows, both sides. And we're like, okay, the parent and child's usually in the same area. It's not. It's round the corner, and it's only bays that are facing the building. And there's 10 at most.
No.
Compared to 30 disabled.
Frustrates me every time.
Yeah. But the kid's going to grow up fairly soon.
Then you'll have another.
Just like you having a daughter.
I'm not having a daughter. Sorry, when you listen to this, when you get round to it, we're not having a daughter.
She never listens anymore.
I think she's just tired of the fucking corrections she's got to make. It's just a second job for me.
So slowly easing into. You right there, mate?
Sorry, mate. If anyone picked that up on the mics, I do apologise. I'm not sure if you're editing this, so I tried to swoop away.
Keeping it raw.
Okay.
They'll just see on the video if you just eject.
Disappear.
So it's. Yeah, so she's doing well, just kind of learning how to deal with stuff. So we had a first shop rather than just going down to the Sainsbury's local. So we're saving a bit of money now because it was hemorrhaging money on the essentials.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just kind of, we're getting there. Not on. So Mark asked me this yesterday. Actually, we're not on reusable nappies yet.
Okay.
Because he's actually not big enough for the ones we've got. So we're currently on disposables. But we are using...
Who's changing the nappies?
Primarily Emmy, but I change them as well.
Ratio? 1 to 5?
80-20. Sort of.
Cool.
Give or take. If I can dodge it. But, and this is a tip for anyone that has a kid, is reusable wipes, I think, are better than wet wipes,
because you can get some force behind
them. Because a wet wipe is literally that. It's a wet towelette, basically. It's just very smooth, very silky, whatever, and it's just wet, and you have to use 5, 6, however many. Knowing you probably just use a reel, just
just throw the pack at
it. But with reusables, because they're little square mini towel sort of material, they've got a lot of surface area. They're soft but coarse, if that makes sense. So when you're actually wiping the bum, it's really good at just getting everything up in a single sort of pass over.
Yep.
So you can wipe it, fold it, wipe, and it'll pretty much, you probably use 1 to 2 wipes rather than 15 disposables.
Mate, if you're using 15 disposables.
But you're probably getting a minimum of a 2 to 1 ratio on how many you use.
And what do you do is just put them in a bag and then wash them?
Yeah, so at home we've got what is essentially Tupperware. There's 2. There's clean and fresh, which are soaked in essential oils and all that jazz. So you just squeeze it out, so it is damp still. Wipe it and then throw it in the dirty one. The dirty pot has like a mesh in it, so when it's full, take the mesh out, throw it in the washing machine, wash it all, and then sling them back in. And obviously you don't have to dry them because they're going to get wet anyway, so it's not like you're forever washing and drying those. So we've been using them at home, and we've just got, again, they're like little bags for the wipes when you're out as well, which is essentially, imagine a waterproof bag that's got like a plastic-ish kind of open on it. Close it and roll it down, and it's airtight and watertight as well. So use those when you're out for the reusables.
What's the biggest place you've ventured out to so far, and what's planned in the next couple of weeks?
That is a great question. So we've not really been too far. Literally, we've only visited family and friends and went shopping.
Where's the thing you thought about going but thought too much fucking headache right now?
Nowhere at the moment.
Okay.
We've not tried to go anywhere.
Where's the first place you think you want to go together as like an outing?
Do you know what? I'm not really sure because we... this is going to sound really bad, but like we don't tend to go many places anyway. So it's like, it's never like, we can't go here now because we've got Elliot. Like it's not like he's really interrupted anything in that sense. But I think Emmy said the other week that she's looking forward to taking him to an aquarium. So, but I don't. He's like I say, he can't even see my eye face yet, so he's not going to see some fish, is he?
Yeah, but his parents, you do all that stuff. You do all that
but
stuff.
But baby can't see it. I'm not really sure. We've just not planned anything. We're slowly just like getting into the rhythm of life right now.
It seems like you kind of got it down right now. Like it seems like you kind of got a nice rhythm going on. It feels like you're personally quite balanced and happy. This morning was a different story. I looked at you and I thought you have not had a good night's sleep. What happened last night? Let's get it on the mics.
Yeah. So when we first got home, he was fairly good within reason. He did exactly what we expected. He started crying when he's hungry and whatever. Cool. But he started just grunting, like making noise. Yeah. Not crying, just making noise. So like he's like
what?
He's like imagine you're sort of stretching. So
if I stretch, it hurts. And I'll probably do.
It's a combination of him sounding like he's stretching, and sounding like he's squeezing.
And he's
out.
Next to the bed right now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is he in like a?
It's called a snooze pod, I think.
Is it the thing that sort of like is like an extension of the bed in like a?
No, you can do that with it. You can pull the side down, but we don't. It's on like it's got like a rocker style base.
Okay, I know what it is. Yeah,
but you can take the top off.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So he sleeps in there. But whenever
on Emmy's side.
Yeah. Okay. So we push the bed over all the way into one corner so it can fit to the side of the bed because the room. The bed in our room only allows like a foot space on either side of the bed, so we've shoved it all the way over and fit it down one side. But he's just so he's making this noise that's a mix of stretching and trying to squeeze out a poo, and we're not sure if from googling it, apparently it's him getting used to trying to digest stuff. It might be. I think he is uncomfortable with it as well, but it's just making this noise all fucking night. But he doesn't do it in the day.
But you can't solve it, I guess. It's not like you can do
I'm not
something.
really. Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. Okay. Is it like something we can do to help him? I don't know. But
just talking about like the sleep stuff, night. Like when Elliot wakes up in the night, and honesty is always the best policy here, because then we'll come on correct you. When Elliot wakes up, just walk me through what happens at that point. It's 2:00. You as a yawn. The thought of it. 2:00 in the morning. Elliot starts crying because he's hungry.
So Emmy is the one that is attending to Elliot.
Are you awake? Does she wake you, or do you wake up?
I'm waking as well.
So he does wake you.
It wakes me, yeah.
I find that impressive.
The benefit is
you sleep heavy.
I can just try and go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Whereas Emmy's having to get up and.
So what are you doing? Glancing over, checking Emmy's
awake. I'm like, what the fucking hell? And then just going back to sleep. But for example, because I've still got a day off tomorrow, I'm gonna do one of the feeds.
It was like,
but I have had to say to Emmy, like, you might need to nudge me and remind me, because I might just go into autopilot and be like, nope, not having it, and just like close my eyes again.
Like you do the snooze button, it happens to the baby.
Well, even this morning, mate, I snoozed my alarm to the point where I was like, I don't think I'm going to get to the office on time. So I have a habit of, because I, like I say, I'm a heavy sleeper, so I have a habit of like snoozing, and I think Emmy's even said to me, I looked over at you the other night and you just pulled the pillow over your head. and I don't remember doing it, but I think what can happen is I'm just like so asleep that I just react.
Defending
it's just
yourself.
Instinct, man. So
I can literally imagine Emmy feeding Elliot with you with a pillow just wrapped around your head.
Well, I don't know what it was last night. I don't know if it was all Elliot's fault why I couldn't sleep. Like, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but it's just a thought. But I had a green tea before I went to bed.
I'm pretty sure the baby making noises.
But I don't know if it was a combination of caffeine that was in the tea.
That's baby, man. It's baby.
Yeah, but I just felt like a level of like alertness. Maybe I was just so wound up at that fucking noise. Don't know, but we'll find out. So I'll refrain from the tea just in case tonight. But yeah, so it's got progressively worse recently because of this noise that he's making. Hopefully this doesn't last long. Because the thing is, like, sometimes when he does squeeze and like stretch and that, you just hear some noise come out the other end of him. So it's like, okay.
It's all right.
But
so what's in the pipeline for you guys in that sort of like week or two? What's top of mind for you? Is it just
what
the
do you
same?
mean?
Is it just sort of like are you still in that stage of like, let's just find our feet, get routine? Like,
yeah.
Is there anything that you guys are thinking about or want to learn about? Or
so Emmy mentioned a course to me last night. She mentioned it to me before, but it's like you learn things like baby massaging,
okay,
and different things. One of which might help with his this grunting thing, which might be a digestion thing. So you can learn how to like, I don't know if it's like knees to chest and like squeeze it out of him or something. But yeah, so she wants to go on that. She's going to do an hour course, an hour meetup thing. It's like a $5. I guess they just give you a sample of the sort of stuff you can learn.
Yeah.
And then it's like if she does the course, it's like a 6-week course. She's going to correct me probably. 6 or 8 week course for like £50. And yeah, you just spend a bit of time. I guess I think it's like a group thing, but
that's pretty cool as a social thing as well with other mums and just because I think it's important. I know some of Em's friends are sort of like either just had a baby or having a baby.
Yeah,
I think it's super important for Em. One thing that Sarah really struggled with is she kind of felt dead isolated, like because she was the only person in her sort of like group of friends who were sort of going through that at that point in time, and I think that's just generally really tough. I think we spoke about it before. Is like you kind of feel a bit alienated. One, when you're pregnant, from like going out, drinking, and having a good time. Air quotes. Just put that out there. Yeah, air quotes, having a good time. Like you can have a good time without drinking. Drink responsibly. Don't talk to Frank. We'll talk to Frank if you need to talk to Frank.
I always talk to Frank every time I go in.
But I think it's that point in time now as well. Like she's in a good situation because she's got friends that she's in a similar boat with, which will definitely help. Yeah.
But she's been great. Just we had a bit of not a chuckle, but she said last night, like, oh, I can't stop worrying. I'm like, well, no, because that's like your maternal instinct. You just want to make sure he's still alive. Because he made a noise just as we were going off, and I even had the same thought. It's like, when you obviously he's fine, but it's like, I don't think I've heard him breathe.
Yeah, you go for all that.
And she was like, should I just check he's alive? I'm like, cool, yeah, please. It's just weird.
Yeah, no.
Because you assume they are alive. But what if they're not?
Morbid as fuck.
You know what I mean? But that's like the paranoia that you have in your head.
That's what goes on in your head, 100%. There was a great quote, and I can't remember the name of the show. It's a Netflix original where why can I not remember the name of him? He's a very well-known interviewer, radio host, and he's got like 5 or 6 guests per season. Him.
Old boy with the beard.
So he interviews.
Keep talking.
Yeah, he interviews Barack Obama, and he has a great quote about what like
David Letterman.
Yeah. So there's a great quote about being a dad and bits like that. It was like, it's like having, it was him or his wife that said it, but it was kind of like, the way that we think about it is it's like having your heart on the outside of your body, in terms of like, everything is fragile, like, it's very easy to access, like, it's just there. That's what like being a dad is like, and you just worry about everything and always.
Yeah.
And it never changes. Like, all of a sudden, like when they're 5, they've got other things to worry about, and like when they're 7, you worry about them getting bullied at school. Like, all this shit you're gonna go through. I guess it's just a case of just doing what you can, and then letting them work out the rest.
Yeah, look forward to it. Cool. Let's wrap it up there.
Cool, man. It's been good to get back on the mics and chat.
I've
got some like dad stuff from my side that I want to talk about in terms of like for a future show, just about like Riley and like where he's at, in terms of like sports, toughening him up, and actually paying attention.
Yeah, this whole toughening thing. We spoke about it before. Like,
Mott hates the way that
I don't understand why you like toughening.
No, it's not about. It's not. I know he's 5. I know he's not stepping into a cage fight. What I'm saying is like
he's not a catcher's mitt.
It's less about toughening him up in terms of the true sense of the word. It's more about him just not being so fucking mardy. Like, that's like showing him what the real world is like a little bit. When someone doesn't pass you the ball,
I think that's still a real harsh lesson.
No, he needs to
like
learn it.
Kids can be mardy. You just don't pander to it.
Agree, but
what you're trying to do is like, don't be mardy, fucking man up.
No, I'm not. Let's talk about this on a future show, okay? Otherwise, I will just go off on one right now because it needs sorted.
Guys,
okay?
Thank you. You finished?
You got me. You got it going like just before you wrap up, and now I'm like, fucking let me tell you about this. Carry on, wrap it up.
If you want to know how tough Adam's son ends up being, tune into the next episode of Dad Knows Best. No, guys, thank you so much for listening and watching. Hopefully, if you've been watching, as Adam slowly slinks off the side of the screen, I've noticed you've got further out of frame as the show went on.
I'm coming in. There you go.
Cool. Yeah, guys, if you've got any pop tips, questions, stories, well, anything, please get in touch. If you're lonely, email.
No dick pics.
Yeah, maybe dick pics. Email dadknowsbest@nbs.fm. Leave a review on iTunes. Leave us a thumbs up on YouTube. Subscribe. Oh, there's way too many calls to action now.
Out of all that, go do them all.
What I'll do is I'll put like a checklist in the show notes.
If you could just make sure you work
all of
through
these things. Guys, thank you so much. We'll speak to you next time.